This place may always be found by three hills, which lay to the northward of it, in the latitude of 26 degrees 53 minutes south. These hills lay but a little way inland and not far from each other. They are very remarkable on account of their singular form of elevation, which very much resembles glass houses, which occasioned my giving them that name.
And that name given to the beautiful volcanic cores of the Sunshine Coast by Captain James Cook remains. Now, 200 years on, the Glass House Mountains mark the gateway to the Sunshine Coast, just an hour's drive north of Brisbane. Access to the Sunshine Coast is easy, with jets flying into Maroochydore Airport daily from southern capitals. These volcanic crags provide a stunning backdrop to Caloundra at the southern tip of the coast, where a variety of tourist attractions welcome visitors all year round. The area has its own brand new top-rating racetrack at Corbould Park, if you feel like a flooding. And if you don't completely lose your shirt, you can always do it at the beach, with a little help from a friend. The Sunshine Coast beaches stretch their golden sands from Caloundra to Noosa. And in between, there are safe havens for fishermen supplying our famous seafood restaurants. And seafaring tourists are welcomed at Mooloolaba Harbour, the finishing point of the annual Sydney to Mooloolaba yacht race. Sea legs are easy to acquire on the coast, where everywhere you look, there's a water view, or water bird. And sharing the day's catch is expected of a gentleman. Maroochydore is the commercial hub of the Sunshine Coast. But we don't work all the time. The rolling breakers and wide open beaches lend themselves to a little dalliance in the dunes, or a bird's eye view for the high flyers, where our less flighty visitors settle for catamarans or sailboards. One way to escape from simply everything is to take the car ferry to the Kalula North Shore.
Welcome aboard, my hearties. Today is a fun day. No doubt, whilst here you've seen the coloured sands in the bottles by our local artists. Today you'll see them in their natural state. The whole dune system is of coloured sands. They run for approximately 20 miles along the beach. They're 8 miles wide, and further inland they reach a height of between 500 and 600 feet. They're thought to be between 50 and 60 odd thousand years old, and they tell us there are over 65 shades or variations of colour. Let's have a closer look at the coloured sands. We've got a sand art technique. It's a simple technique using the coloured sands with all the various colours that's been collected from the beaches. The only two colours that are coloured up are the blues and the greens, naturally, to give us the picture formation, which I'll show you here the little birds that can be done. It's quite a simple technique. It's just free-flowing sand into the glasses, and they're just balanced in like that, you can see, and then we process them by just pointing the little bird down.
Further up the beach lies the wreck of the trading vessel Cherry Venture, marooned in a storm in the mid-70s. While the Double Island Point, erroneously named by Captain Cook, shelters the sandy track into Rainbow Bay used by four-wheel drive trekkers. Rainbow is the route to Fraser Island, where wildlife, lakes, rainforests and freshwater creeks delight visitors to the world's largest sand island. It's the territory of dingoes and brumbies, where the sandy beach acts as roadway, and when sand gives way to rock, the trip becomes even more exciting. The Hinterland tourist attractions offer a smoother ride, with more wildlife of varying temper, lineage and social standing. And some with far better manners than others. Yandina has the only ginger factory in Australia. First established at Budrum in 1941, with nearly 500,000 visitors each year viewing the processing of ginger grown from Gympie to the Glasshouse Mountains. And in such a super holiday spot, you'd expect to find Super Bee.
This one here is nurses looking after babies. All the little brown cells towards the centre, all babies. The little edge of honey around up each side across the top, like a rainbow is honey. They always build that around there to keep the warmth in.
And after the birds and bees, we have, of course, the story of the three bears, and poor baby bear's perennial problem with that lady napping in his cot. With its big pineapple mascots and 850,000 visitors a year, the Sunshine Plantation has a restored sugarcane train which tours the property to show off the orchards and plantations of bananas, pineapples, avocados and other exotic fruits. Some of that superb fruit is used to make delicious parfaits and sundaes. Even the donkeys join the welcome committee at Animal Farm, while that tiny retired train toots on through the pineapple fields. Its big brother is still on the job in Nambour, carting sugarcane to the Moreton Mill for processing. With the farmers' cane fires adding colour to the evening skies. Sugar is the dominant agricultural industry on the coast, and the Moreton Mill is the economic hub of the region. The exotic Nutmobile runs from the Sunshine Plantation to the Macadamia Nut Factory, full of fascinating educational displays and delicious products. The macadamia, or Queensland nut, was first discovered in 1857 in a rainforest near the present factory, where they now turn out sweets and ice creams flavoured with that juicy nut. A host of other nuts assemble at Pomona each year to run to the top of Mount Karura and back again in the legendary King of the Mountain competition. Another town attraction is its 1920s era theatre, the Majestic. The Hinterland pubs in Pomona and picturesque Kinkin offer old Queensland hospitality. And the Saturday morning Umundi markets combine local produce, live music and friendship with arts and crafts from the surrounding district. And further along the mountain landscape lies the Rainforest Park, with its stunning bamboo forest of towering green light to dwarf the enchanted visitor.
Hello, I'd like to welcome people who are watching this tape, and I would hope that you'll pay us a visit when you come to Montville. We're perched up here at 1,600 feet inside the coast, up in the hills. It's cliched as the jewel and the crown of the range, and we function either as the Delisle Gallery or the Montville Art Gallery. Either way, we'd be delighted to see you if you come to this part of the woods.
Among the galleries are restaurants of fine standing and culinary delight. Well-known artists exhibit their work in private galleries throughout the coast. This collection is by Peter Goss, who makes his craft look so easy. Rainforest tracks lead to freshwater pools and rocky waterfalls. Some visitors always drop in uninvited. Rocky headlands sprout pandanus trees and shelter secluded coves where the national park meets the sea. Walking tracks and beaches lend the utmost privacy where it's needed, and where you feel like shedding more than your everyday cares. Besides the national park lies Noosa, nestling on Laguna Bay. And the Noosa boutique scene, where high fashion and specialty shops mingle with great restaurants. "50 years ago, the timber cutters would float their logs down the watery wilderness of the Everglades. Today, visitors float in luxury on their tranquil waters, photographing perfect double images in the tea-coloured streams. At the National Parks and Wildlife Service's Canaber Information Centre, the ecology of the river system's explained, while visitors bird gaze from the boardwalk, where waterbirds parade, and some say it's time to wing our way homewards. But before we leave you, promise you'll remember the Sunshine Coast, especially when you plan your next holiday.